Also, do you know Max Malby?
Yeah, I know Max as well. He has the
Yeah.
he's got like the museum, the
The
shrine.
Fear Factorium. Oh God, he's got so much stuff. I haven't been there, which I've only seen on video. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But that's really cool. And we talk often. You know what I mean?
yeah.
He
He's
helps
a
me out. He helps me out with a few things. If
he's a
anybody, I'm sorry to cut you off, but if anybody who knows, like, there's stuff that I forget. You know what I mean? But if there's anybody who knows anything about Fear Factory, it's him.
yeah.
He knows everything. Like, he'll know if, like, because some of the logos I was recreating for merchandise and stuff like that, and he noticed that one of the logos was off a little bit. So he was like, "This logo is a little off, man." I don't even notice it. How do you notice it? Oh man, if you go to the original, mate, you can see that the original is like this, and this one's a little off. So whoever gave this logo is wrong. I'm like, oh man. So stuff like that. He notices every little detail, which
It's
is
good
really
to
good.
have people like that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I met him a few years ago at one of our local pubs, watering establishment, and I've got a Fear Factory tattoo, and he saw it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah." And I gave him my Fear Factory stories from back in the UK, back at Donington, back in the 90s, and all that. And he goes, and that's when I found out about his museum. And he's like, "Check this out." And it was like, just a really nice guy as well. Really nice guy.
Yeah. Which tattoo do you have?
I've got the logo from the Obsolete album. I don't know if you can see it in there. If you can, just there.
Now I see it. Yes.
Yeah.
You got Sepultura and Typo Negative.
Yeah. So what I did.
Nice. That's nice.
I got the 3 albums that meant the most to me as I was growing up, like made an impact on my life. And it was Roots, Obsolete.
You need a machine head tattoo.
I do need one actually. Yeah. Well, I haven't got space. I'm going to need to get machine head somewhere else. But
yeah, we've seen a lot of interesting tattoos over the years. There's a guy who has that same Obsolete logo.
Yeah.
But he didn't put the circle. He put the 2 FFs going down, starting here, going down, right? But the spike the spike that comes down, his goes further down, which is really cool. So it's F, and that one spike coming down like that.
Oh, that would look like really a weapon. Cool.
Yes, it kind of, when he goes like that, it looks badass. It looks really cool.
Oh, you're giving me ideas. I've just got a new tattoo recently. Don't give me any more.
I mean, I've seen it all. I've seen like, the demanufacture album tattooed on a lot of people's back.
Yeah.
Like the whole album cover on, like, the spine being on their spine, a barcode, rib cage, and all that stuff. I've seen it tattooed. Some girl has it tattooed on her stomach. Looks really nice. Mechanized. I've seen the mechanized FF with the spikes and all that stuff tattooed on people's backs everywhere.
How does that make you feel when you see that sort of thing? Because that's your creativity.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. It's like, I think the one thing that really threw me off was a kid in Russia has my face tattooed on his calf, on his leg.
It's a bit creepy.
I thought that was pretty amazing. I've seen my autograph tattooed on people's arms. And in Adelaide, actually. In Adelaide, there was a girl who was like, "Will you sign my arm?" I said, "Yeah." I signed her arm right here, And then next day she showed up to the show with it tattooed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she saw us at the hotel, and I was like, "I'll sign it." With the, I know that sometimes they're gonna try to get it tattooed, so I try to sign it as best as I could.
Yeah.
And then I try to sign, and then they go out and get it tattooed. And
it must be a really great feeling knowing that you've got these diehard fans who would do that sort of shit for your band because you've inspired them.
Yeah, and they inspire me. They inspire me to really make sure that what I put out is quality shit.
Yeah.
I want to put out quality stuff. If it's for them, you know what I mean. Besides for myself, of course, but also for them as well.
And we'll talk about that now because that's actually why we're here. It wasn't just to have a chinwag about Adelaide. So there is a new album out, Recoded. So this is the 3rd remix release, so to speak. I'm not going to call it an album. After Fear is a Mind Killer and Remanufacture. Why do you think? And I know you've done other like little remixes here and there over the years. Why do you think your music is so accessible to be able to be remixed into EDM or dance music?
Because I think some of the mentality comes from there. You know, some of the inspiration comes from those types of music, types of scenes. You know what I mean? You know, dating way back to when we first started. I'll give you a perfect example. Martyr, the riff in Martyr, that was technically inspired from a techno riff. Because, you know, back in the day when Fear Factory first started, we played a lot of backyard parties, right? And some of these parties where the early evening, the metal bands played, then we would break down and then a DJ would come, right? And then, so the DJ wouldn't start till like midnight. So they have a DJ playing, a DJ's playing techno music, right?
Yeah.
And so listening to all that stuff, not just the DJs, but just being inspired from that type of electronic music, you know, that inspiration comes from there as well. Besides, you know, grindcore and death metal and industrial, you know, it's Fear Factory has been a melting pot of everything that we've all loved. You know what I mean? So the inspiration comes from there, and I think it still does. You know what I mean? Some of the transitions that I have in songs, some of the breakdowns that I have in songs, some of the breakdown and then you build it back up. All that was inspired from early electronic and techno music. So it's still there in our music, and I think that's why our music is easy to remix or easy for a guy like, you know, Reese Fulbert's Zardonic or Rob G or Blush Response to create something that is new, you know, take it to a different place. And I think it's easier for them to see that.
That's my next question, actually, because you've got the 5 guys doing remixes. Reese has done ones before. Reese has been in the band in theory for decades. How do you choose who's going to remix them? Like you just go up to Reese and go, "Oh, dude, do this."
Just whoever I'm a fan of. You know what I mean? Of course, obviously, I've been a fan of Reese's way, way back. That's different. That's like the 80s, you know, when he first put out Frontline Assembly. Yes, everybody knows that Reese Fulbert is like the 5th member. So whenever, you know, something like this is going to go down, he's the first guy I call. You know what I mean? But being a fan of Zardonic, Tyrant of Death, who's based out of Canada, he did the Collapse remix called Empire's Fall.
Yeah.
Being a fan of their bands and their music and stuff they create, maybe want to reach out to them. You know, Zardonic, I've been a fan of. He put out a couple of records that I really like.
Yeah.
And Rob G has been a friend of my manager's for a long time, and I've met him quite a few times. And we did talk about possibly doing remixes years ago, but now this opportunity came about, and you know, I reached out to him as well. You know, just being a fan of their music, and everybody has a different thing about them. You know, and that's what I like. And there's another guy named Dualized. He did the collab with Zardonic for "I Am the Night Rider." So Dualized and Zardonic collabed on that song, and it came out to be one of the best songs on the record. One of the best songs. You know, don't get me wrong, I love the whole record, but there's people have standout tracks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was one of those tracks that stood out because it's still heavy as fuck. It's got an ode to the guy that passed away, the Knight Rider.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name right now. His name's slipping my mind.
Oh, the actual actor.
He was the guy in the first Mad Max movie.
Yeah, the actor.
Yeah, the actual actor passed away. So when we found out he passed away, I decided to add more samples and more dialogue from the movie that he was talking about. I'm sorry, where he was talking. And so that collab came out amazing. And Dualize is a guy who's been working with us since Genexus. So he's been doing some stuff with us for a long time. And then Blush Response, he's also been working with us for a while too.
He did something on Industrialist, didn't he?
Yeah, Industrialist.
Yeah.
I want to say he did some stuff on Mechanized as well. But but definitely ever since the Industrials, yeah, he's been doing stuff on the side here and there, and also some remixes.
I think the guy's name is, I want to say Hugh Reese Jones or
Joey,
something.
Joey.
No, the guy from Mad Max.
Oh, I'm
It's,
not sure.
it's Hugh something like that. I'll find it when I pop it in the in the transcript. Funny, the two songs that you mentioned were the two that stood out to me as well. Was "I'm the Night Rider" because it's punchy, like it keeps going, which is great. And you mentioned about
It hits
Empire,
hard.
yeah, and the Empire's Fall one that they were the two that stood out to me as well. Empire's Fall because again, when we spoke a few years ago about Aggression Continuum, we spoke about that when the collapse bit hits and that riff that you come out with, they extend that in the remix one, and you're like, oh yeah, man, that is just
exactly.
The volume was up to 11 at that point.
Exactly.
So I mean, they were really cool. I did actually write that down.
And I like and Tyrant of Death was kind of like, he was really more into the lower tuning songs.
Yeah.
Like that song's at F sharp, so he's really into the lower tunings, and so he really felt that track, and it's fucking sick. And what he did is also he took the guitars and he pitched them down
Okay.
to like a low E. So those are an F sharp, and the low E is like 2 steps down, or a full and a half step down. So it's like it came out even heavier.
Killer. The album's been out for 2 weeks now, I think. What's the initial response been?
Very positive, very, very positive. Of course, there's going to be a couple of people like, give me the fucking metal, mate. I don't want to fucking hear this shit. But overall, it's been very, very positive. Very positive. People are really liking it. And I remember on Twitter, I asked everybody, "What's your favorite track?" And everybody was saying something different, which is really cool.
Good. I mean, I think like we were talking earlier at the beginning about Fear Factory fans, that they are loyal. Rabid is a word you could use. So they're always looking for content, which does lead to the next question. When we did speak 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, the plan at that point was new singer, and I know you've been asked that a million times, and also that you're potentially going to do Aggression Continuum you're actually going to release it as with no vocals, and or release it with the new singer's vocals on there. So where are we at with that? Is that happening again, or have you got the singer and you're going to do something brand new completely? Have you got a singer?
Okay, hold on. There's like a few questions in there.
That's 6 right?
There. Yeah. Okay, we did release it with no vocals.
Yep.
Okay, so you have that instrumental version of Aggression Continuum.
Yeah.
I might have mentioned remixes. Obviously, the remixes came out.
Good.
Okay, now within that time, our contract ran up with Nuclear Blast.
Oh, okay.
So at the moment, we have no record company. Yes, this is the last release on Nuclear Blast, and they have obligation to promote this, right? This release, right? But our contract's up. So at the moment, we're negotiating a new contract. So as far as releasing new music, we can't release any new music until a contract is signed. So that's the answer to that question. But also, we are currently working on new songs.
Nice.
I'm demoing everything. I want to get it all demoed. Yes, with vocals and everything. That way we could have something out by next year.
Okay, cool.
Whether it be Nuclear Blast or another record label.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Yes. So
is there
what's
a singer
happening between that two. Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And I know it's not been announced, so
no, it's not been announced.
We'll leave it at that. You're actually going to be in Australia soon.
Yes, in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
How's I will talk about that just a little bit, and I'm going to the show in Brisbane, so I'll probably see you up there anyway. I think Jason's actually going as well. How have you found? Don't take this the wrong way, but how have you found being in a band where you don't have to make the decisions?
Oh, you mean playing with Soulfly?
Yeah.
It's great. Because there's a lot less worry. You know what I mean? Because you're just really hired to go up there and perform, right? But I've known Max for over 30 years, the family for a long time, the Cavalera family. Um, yeah, so it's like being around family. You know what I mean? It's really easy going, really easy. You're playing with professional people. You know, Mike Leone's a great bass player.
Oh yeah.
Zion, his son, hits hard. He's a hard hitter. And of course, Max. We're the veterans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's an enjoyment playing with your brother. Your brothers really.
Yeah.
Um, and I love it. It's like it's a lot less worrisome because when you're doing your own band and you hire people, you got to worry about those people. You know what I mean? So it's a little different. Some of the pressure's taken off of you, and you can just go up there and have fun.
Yeah. Good. 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 Well, I think I'm only meant to have 15 minutes, and I think we're at 16 already. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Well, we got time.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, we'll keep talking about that then. All right.
Wait. Do we have time? Yeah, we have like 12 minutes.
Oh, okay. We got a bit more. Okay, excellent. I thought I only had 15. Okay, so
No, you have a total of 30 minutes.
Oh, okay, awesome. All right. Well, going back to Fear Factory then, like this. So if we had Recoded in, that would be. Am I right? 13 albums. If we had the remix on
Well, if you count Fear's the Mind Killer and Remanufacture, you also got to count Concrete.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah, it's a lot of records.
It's
I don't know. We'd have to count them all. So
Yeah.
let's say Concrete, Soul New Machine, Fear's the Mind Killer, Demanufacture, Remanufacture, Obsolete, Hate Files.
Yes, yeah.
Because it has different songs on it.
Digimortal.
What else? Digimortal, Archetype.
Yeah.
Transgression.
I know your opinion on that album.
Transgression. What else?
I already know it.
Mechanized.
Yeah.
Mechanized. The Industrialist. Genexus. Aggression Continuum. And now Recoded. So it's 15.
15. Well, I'd forgotten. I mean, Hate Files is a. Hate Files, it was, as you said, it was kind of a compilation album of B-sides and remixes, and Concrete, of course, was.
Well, we wrote a couple of songs for that record.
Yeah, and Concrete was the first release, but not released. That's right, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. With the foreword from Max Cavalera, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yes. So
yeah.
I have to my name, I have 21 records.
With other bands as well?
Yes, with my other projects and other bands.
So the in terms of that, because I'm actually kind of quite intrigued. Like we spoke about Transgression last time, so we'll leave that alone. We already know. Do you have your own era where you think this was where everything was spot on in the band's history? Like obviously old school people are going to go, oh yeah, demanufacture, but do you sit there and go, we're better now or then?
They're all such pivotal points in our history, of course, demanufacture was where we learned how to focus on 10 good songs. Because if you look at Soul in the Machine, it's scattered. There's like 17 songs on the record. Too many songs, right? I mean, of course, not to the fans. They'd love that. The more material, the better, right?
Yeah.
But for us, as like a record, it's just too many records. Like if we picked the 10 best songs from that record, we could have had a more solid record.
Yeah.
But of course, we put 17 songs. We were young. Let's throw them all in there. And there were still songs that didn't make the record. We could have put like 20 something songs, right? That's like 2 or 3 albums worth to some bands. Anyways, but when we went back to do Demanufacture, we were like, okay, let's focus on these 10, 11 tracks. And that's when the band, went to the next level. But I think that when we really matured as songwriters, or I can only speak for myself, but when I matured as a songwriter and started, I have to say Obsolete. So Obsolete is a very well-rounded record. right? It's got the epic, resurrection, going into timelessness. Those two tracks are epic, right?
Mhm.
Then you got Shock and Edge Crusher who live next to each other. Those songs, like when we play live, you have to play those two songs together
Yeah,
because that's what you're used to on the record. You're used to Shock, boom, and then boom, Edge Crusher. You're used to it. So we do that a lot. Um, and then when you go to Obsolete, you got Descent. It's in the
it's a
middle of
great
the
song.
record. It's
Yeah.
great. It's a great song. So I think for me, I matured as a songwriter. I just got better and better.
So that album also had and again, I mean, as you know, it's the one I got tattooed. It's the one that's was also the concept album that had like the screenplay in it, which I
Yes,
then
but
get the
that was also when we got better at doing that as well. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
There
Yeah,
was,
we decided because when we did demanufacture, we did write a synopsis,
mhm.
which I'm sure Max Malby has it. But we wrote a synopsis, so we put the album cover on one side. It's like a sheet of paper that got sent to all the people in the press, right? And so it had the album cover on one side, and on the back, we had the whole story of demanufacture written out. But we didn't put it on the album, but we put it on the thing for the journalists to read and to know kind of what questions to ask us,
Mhm.
right? So we wrote out the whole story of the album, what it was about. So there is a concept for demanufacture, right? Just not a lot of people read it. So we decided, hey, we need to really add this stuff on Obsolete. So that's why we added it inside the booklet.
So I got the impression, I could be wrong, but I got the impression when you did that with Obsolete, and we'll come back to demanufacture shortly, that was meant to, the plan was to kind of do a short film about it. And I don't just mean a resurrection video, but actually make it into something. Were there any
Yeah.
concrete plans behind that?
Yeah, yes. I mean, we've talked about it, but it was just like it was all just a lot of money
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
we didn't have. You know what I mean? We needed a if we
It's
really
everything.
if we really wanted that to come into fruition, we would have needed at least a couple $1,000,000 to make that
Okay,
happen,
yeah.
and it would have taken a whole lot of planning to do it. But if you fast forward all the way to Aggression Continuum, I started doing that with the videos for
Saw that.
Disruptor and Recoded. So I was kind of like carrying that idea that we had during Obsolete, and I carried it now to do a full concept videos because because I didn't have a singer, so I didn't want to go there and just me playing guitar. That's it. What I mean? So I decided to actually do the idea that we had for Obsolete and do it for Aggression Continuum, which I would like to continue that, but I think our fans want to see a band. They want to see a band.
Yeah.
So I would probably do a combination of both on
Yeah.
the next stuff.
We definitely want to see the band play live as well, especially in Australia. So I'm hanging out for that. So then we'll go from Obsolete then into Digimortal, which I thought was still a really great album. It still has a lot of really great tracks. But what's your memories of the time? Because obviously things start to go a bit off at that point.
Well, it all started off with the writing of the record where things really started to take a shift. Obsolete had gone gold in America. Actually, around the world, Obsolete went gold. Excuse me. And the record company was like, okay, we need to sell. We need you guys to go platinum. So we're going to
Roadrunner
start bringing
Records.
Yeah. So we're going to bring in different producers and different writers, which we've never had before, to help out with the record. And I was like, no. I was saying no. The rest of the band was kind of saying yes. And I was like, and that's where we started to butt heads. Because, obviously it's a democracy, right? When you're in a band, if I say no and the other three guys say yes, I lose. Yep. And so that's pretty much how the beginning of that record started. But I still think, I still managed to push what I needed on the record, like what will become damaged, no one, bite block, acres of skin. Those are all the songs that I was like, fuck, we still need to make it heavy, you know? Yeah, we did have commercial songs like Linchpin, which is our biggest song, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Really?
It's our most streamed song, yes.
Really? It's a great
Over
song, but that
Replica,
surprises me.
over Replica, over Cars, over any of that stuff. Yeah, it's our most streamed song. Yeah, you can look it up.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so you know, I still love that record. I mean, there was probably one song that probably should have been, put as an extra bonus track on the B side, and maybe we could have put another track in its place. And
It's
that
that
was
rap song. That rap song should not be on that album.
yes,
That's my
exactly.
opinion. The rap song.
That was part of the democracy that I lost.
Man, that whole album I can listen to, and it's a great album. But then that one comes on, I'm like, nah, skip. I just can't.
I mean, there's a lot of people who still like it. There's a lot of people who still like it. I just felt at the time that new metal was already dying. It already had reached its peak. My vision was to go back to demanufacture days, but they don't, or just at least keep it heavier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not put some of these songs on the record, because if you listen to some of the B sides, like Dead Men Walking,
that's a great tune. Yeah.
Strain versus Resistance, and those songs, I think those songs could have been on the record. You know what I mean?
The Dead Man Walking one really surprises me because that's one of my favorite songs, and it's a bonus track. Yeah, it really surprises me.
It's almost like not everybody's heard that track. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So what did you think then when Archetype came out?
I did a double take. I was like, what? Because I thought it was me playing.
Yeah, and it was Christian, wasn't it?
Yeah, because if you listen to the song Slave Labor, it's pretty much the exact same idea as Shock.
Oh, I haven't thought of that. I'll have to listen to that now. Yeah.
Shock's and theirs is like what is it? I can't think of it right now. Almost the same thing.
Yeah.
But so I was like, but it had some good songs on it. And now for the last few years, or when I came back into the band, I was like, I don't want to play any of those songs. But then fans were asking for it, and I was like, I mentioned it to Bert at the time. I said, hey, I think we need to add at least Archetype.
That's a great song, Archetype.
Yeah. Then he finally agreed to it, and so we added Archetype into the live set list. We've been doing it for the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
I do have to ask this, and look, if I overstep the mark, please tell me. Okay.
Okay.
My belief is a reason why there's been no live material has been because of the vocalist. I hope I'm not overstepping the mark there. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. I know some people are going to hate me for saying that, and people get mad at me when this subject comes up, but any true Fear Factory fan knows that there has been issues with that. Yes, there hasn't been any live recordings put out because of that reason. Now, going back when we did the reissue for Demanufacture on vinyl, we did find Demanufacture live that we did back in 1996 for the Ozfest festival. That there was some good vocal takes there. We had something good to work with, so we released those 6 tracks that we could put, and we put those out, so you could get them on Spotify now. You could hear it on Spotify.
Yeah, because the only other, I haven't heard them. The only one I've heard was the one you did was Replica. I know Replica got released, I think, on an Ozfest album.
Yes. That's also as well included in this live.
That's one of them. Yeah, I've often thought that because as the years have gone by, the music was still powerful, but the part on the record, part of what makes a lot of the songs powerful is that the vocals can go in different spots. And I know you work your magic there, but then live it gets lost. And as the years have gone by, I'm like, that's just so. I start tuning out the vocals. I'm just going, just give me the guitars and the drums and bass, like, which is sad. But so look, if I overstep the mark, I do apologize about that.
No, it's okay. I understand. It is what it is. What are you going to do? You can ignore it, or you can talk about it. If somebody's going to ask, people ask me all the time, oh, Dino, you're just talking shit. Like, well, people ask me all the time. about this stuff. And that's I can only give them an honest answer. And if they can't answer the honest answer, then I don't know what to tell
One of the things I've always admired actually about you, and I'm not pulling your chain or anything, is that in terms of the social media part, you're not a machine. Like, you actually do get on there, and it's you who responds on Twitter, whether it's through Fear Factory or you've responded to me with some of the Fear Factory stuff I did on Aggression Continuum, and you went and promoted it out there as well. Like, this is that one of your biggest joys that you get, that you're able to still have contact with these people?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind being vocal on social media, especially Twitter. And sometimes, sometimes I get caught up in, people trying to bash me for things and stuff like that. And sometimes I'll respond back. And it's really kind of funny that, somebody will bash me on the internet, and then I'll respond, and maybe I'll bash them back, but then I'm the asshole because I responded to them. You know what I mean? Yeah, Dino, you just proved my point. You're a fucking asshole. Well, you're the one who started talking shit. I'm going to talk shit back to you. Sorry, you can't handle it. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like it for all the reasons. I try to be as formative as possible to the fans who want to know a lot of questions. You know what I mean? And a lot of people always ask me the same question. Why is an archetype or transgression on Spotify in certain countries? In Australia, it's still there, but in America, it's not. And people ask me all the time, and they always blame me, saying it's because you didn't play on those records. You don't want them on Spotify or any streaming service. I go, no, that's not the reason. The reason is it's because I wasn't on those records. I don't own the records, and I don't own the rights to those records.
You have no power over them at all.
There's nothing I can do about it. Yeah. But people want to blame me all the time, and I get it. I get it. They're passionate. They want those records, and there's nothing I can do about it. Our time is up, by the way.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, let it go.
3 minutes over. They're 3 minutes over, but this is your last question. Go for it. I'll answer.
This is a cheeky question, but thank you. One of my first memories of reading about you in Kerrang was that you were trying to rival Gene Simmons in the ladies' stakes. And did you have your own book, with pictures in there?
You're bringing up some old shit, huh?
Is it true though?
Yes, I do have a collection of Polaroids, and it's a lot.
Good. All right, we'll leave it at that then. Thanks very much, man. I hope to see you in a couple of weeks in Brisbane when you're up there with Soulfly.
Yep.
And thank you very much for your time today.
I'll be wandering around, so.
All right, I'll check you out there. All the best, Dino. Take care, man. Bye.
Later.